Hello, I'm a copycat. I'm a copycat and so are you. All of us are. And getting over this thing is kind of important for you as a person, for you as someone who works in business, maybe you as a creative person as well, accepting you're a copycat and living with it. It's really hard because our culture is all about the individual. Our culture is all about finding your tune, your unique truth, your path in life, self-actualizing, being you. When you have an idea, you want to have a unique idea, not something that's been had before. Something that's fresh and different and novel and challenging. It's just like that idea I heard last week. So our culture is all about the singularity. That's what it values. It values a single individual who has great ideas just out of nowhere, maybe just plucking them from the sky, but not anyone else's ideas. And I think that's just plain wrong. And it's also really unhelpful to you as a person, to you as a business person, to you as a creative individual. And so we'll have a bit of a look at that. But to help you on the way, I want to take you, I don't know, has anyone got any plans for the last week of September? Anyone? Yep, so you're out and you're out. Everyone, and you're out as well. Everyone else, can I invite you to Porthcawl? Porthcawl in South Wales, near where I was born, is the last week of September every year, is the home to the world's largest Elvis impersonator festival. And it has, 2 years ago, they broke the world record and had 930 something Elvises on stage, all hound dogging, all that stuff. All ages, all heights, all colours, all sizes. And there's quite a predominance there, as you can see, of the later Elvis, the stouter Elvis, which is the Elvis I like to go for as well. I don't know why that might be the case. And that's okay, right? It's a bit weird gathering all those Elvis impersonators in one place, but we've all done it at one point or another. All of us in this room, I think, have done something like a snarl, or a very much, or one of those, right? We've all, well, many of us have tried to have the hair, but we've all had a bit of Elvis, a go at Elvis at some point or another. And that's okay, all these Elvis impersonators gathered together. This is probably not okay. This is the late Kirsty MacColl's great single. There's a guy who works down the chip shop, swears he's Elvis. That's a lie. He's not Elvis, and if you believe him, if he believes himself, he's lying, and that's almost psychologically challenging, I think, there. That is interesting. So Alex from the Arctic Monkeys. There's a bit of Elvis coming out there. And I don't know if you noticed that the last couple of years, he has started to model himself on Elvis. And I was really pleased by this. Doctor Who Elvis. Brilliant, what a great idea. I'm less sure of this. This is Michael Barrett, Shakin' Stevens. Now, you younger folk won't know this guy at all. He was the biggest selling singles artist in the UK in the 1980s. And he comes from Cardiff, like myself. 30 top 10 singles. Nightmare. But he was truck driver Elvis all the way through from beginning to end. And even now, he's sort of my age and a bit stout. But he still sort of carries off that truck driver. He never went through the Vegas years, which is just as well. This, I think, is wrong. This is Johnny Halliday. It's always been wrong. France's answer to Elvis. Always been wrong, always will be. Can I have agreement on that, please? Can I have a amen? Thank you. So, but the original Elvis, right, he was the one we all looked to. He was an original in a field of copycats, as Mick Jagger said. And even the great R&B and soul artists who worked with him and came after him acknowledge it. Al Jarreau, all of the greats comment on how Elvis taught them. Even James Brown says Elvis taught him stagecraft, which is, I'm not exactly sure, I think it's a bit flattering, but he was the one we copied. But was he so original in himself? Let's have a little look. Elvis was a covers artist. Now, if you play music, if you still play music like I do in a band, being a covers artist is just slightly above pondweed. It's just not, you're not a real musician. You turn up and you're doing your sound check and the sound guy goes, so are you doing your own stuff? Or are you a covers band? Yeah, covers band, I'm afraid, yeah, covers band. Elvis was a covers artist. He never wrote his own songs. Although latter years, his management tried to get the writing credits from artists, which is why he never covered Dolly Parton's song, interestingly. She always refused. Anyway, so this is a famous breakthrough moment for Elvis, right? This is Elvis singing Hound Dog on the Milton Berle show in 1954, June 1954. Elvis unique. Did this Hound Dog thing, and there was the dance, and remember, I don't know if you remember it, he slowed right down at the end, and the hips were doing all this shit, and it ripped it off. He ripped it off. Freddie Bell and the Bells were a local band running around in the Mississippi Delta, just like Elvis's band, and Elvis actually supported them. And Scotty Moore, the guitarist in Elvis's band, said, it's recorded in Rolling Stone interview, says, yeah, we saw it, thought it was great, so we thought we'd just steal it. So that iconic moment, the thing that made Elvis famous and got him banned, certainly below the waist banned, that was something that was stolen from other people. Sure, he used the music of the Delta, black and white musicians, and he copied it and he recycled it. But that bit, the most famous bit, the thing that's iconically Elvis, that was stolen. Let's look at his looks. I mean, clearly he inherited his looks from somewhere, from his parents and his predecessors. But his fashion sense, extraordinary. That's what people look at often, and like the haircut thing, go, that's clearly something that's Elvis. He made that, that's himself. Wrong. This guy here, who you see the back of his neck, this is Bernard Lansky, who ran the #1 dudes outfitters on Beale Street in Memphis, Tennessee, from the early 50s right through until the late 1980s when he moved out of town. He said, I put Elvis's first suit on him and I put his last suit on him as well. When Elvis first got famous, he used to close the shop on Beale Street and get Elvis to come in privately, so he could look around without being harassed. Later on, he took stuff up to Graceland's. All of those looks, from the sort of truck driver piece through to the, remember that great sort of peg trouser thing and the correspondence shoes and the boxy jackets, all of that stuff, that was what guys on the street were wearing in Memphis. It was pimp and hustler gear. Similarly, the black leather jumpsuit from the '68 comeback tour, which I've always been particularly fond of but never been courageous enough to wear. You ask why. That was also what was hot on the streets of Memphis in 1968. Those fantastic Vegas era white high collar stuff with big flares, that's also ghetto wear. Elvis copied what other people were wearing, courtesy of this man who'd copied it and was serving it back to people. So the looks, the fashion was not original either. And finally his name, and I say this as someone who was born in South Wales. Elvis is not an American name. Elvis is a Welsh name. The Church of St. Elvis is not found outside Vegas or in the suburbs of Memphis, Tennessee. The Church of Elvis is to be found on the Pembrokeshire coast. Because St. Elvis was the Celtic bishop who baptized in the 4th century St. David, the patron saint of God's own country. St. Elvis. And indeed, the Preseli Hills, which are the mountains just around St. David's, are supposed to have given his family its name, Presley Preseli. So if you are Welsh or have connections to Wales, be proud. We produced a copycat. So, what do we take from this? We take, first of all, that copycatting is okay. Copying is okay. It's great for a creative person. It's how stuff gets made, new stuff gets made. Don't know if you listened to the Reith lectures this last year, Grayson Perry, one of my heroes, not simply for the style, but for lots of other reasons. He said this, he said, trying to be original for original's sake, it's useless, it's pointless. It's originality is for people with short memories. There's so much stuff out there that you can take and start with. Why try and have your own original ideas when you can take someone else's and make something with it? My good buddy Hugh MacLeod, if you're into digital stuff, this is Gaping Void, great cartoonist. This is his take on this. He says, copying is what makes us human. Except that we feel quite uncomfortable with it. Copying, we start copying really on, from 42 minutes old. It's the first time we see human infants copying. They copy longer, and they copy more consistently, without support. Human beings copy. We're homo mimicus, if you like, in that sense. Now, this is really good, because it helps me in my secret life as a ska singer. This is me and the band, 20 years we've been playing together. That's me there, by the way, and that's my lovely girlfriend, and this is our stand-in drummer, which is why he looks rather nervous. We have my friend Big Al. So that's us. So it's all right for us to be a covers band. It's okay. We do things that sometimes you might even recognise the tune, which is good, but there's variation in it. But it's also good in business, right? And we're going to do something now. I've got a couple of minutes to do this, and I'm going to ask you all, just stand up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can you stand up, please? And look that way. Actually, have you as well. Can you? Okay. All of you just watch what goes on here, please. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tap you on the shoulder over here, and you're going to turn around and look at me, and I'm going to show you something, a gesture or two. And then you're going to turn around without saying anything, tap Colin on the shoulder. Colin's going to turn around and watch what you do, and without saying anything, Colin's going to turn around, tap you on the shoulder, show you what you've seen, and so on and so on. You'll get the hang of it, right? Anyway, so audience, watch really carefully. If you need to stand up over there then to get a good view, then do stand up. So, here we go. Making room. Okay, it's cool. That's it. Yeah. Aha. Very good. Come on. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Round of applause, please. Okay. Okay, so what happened there? We won't do the full diagnosis. Sit down, guys. Thank you. What happened there? Audience, what do you see? What did you see? Not precision. This wasn't copying as replication, right? Because it involved humans. So what happened?
People put their own uniqueness on.
Yeah, and sometimes because they did it deliberately, there was a bit of jazz hands towards the end. But sometimes it's just because that's what I saw, and yeah, that's it, isn't it? Isn't it? And that's how people do it. That's how people do it. People copy other people, and when they do, error comes in. Now, it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. It's a really good thing, because the error is where the juice lies. The error is where stuff happens. Let's go back to Sun Studios and Elvis, right? The first time he was in there with Scotty Moore and Bill Black, this is a really poor grain photograph, sorry about that, it's the best one I could find. They were mucking about doing cover songs, because Bill and Scotty were both country and western session musicians, right? And they said, let's play these songs. Do you know these songs? And they started playing, Blue Moon of Kentucky and a couple of other tunes like that, which had been hits for other people for a long time and standard stuff, so Elvis joined in. And because they were mucking about, they played it double time. And Sam Phillips, who was in this guy here, the control room, just goes, stop, what are you doing there? And they said, I don't know, we're just fooling around. And they said, that's great, that's the sound, that's pop music. Go back to the top and do it again. So just by accidental stuff, this error creates where the juice is. If you want to invent new things, copy and use the error, find the error. For me, this is really important in business. I don't know if you read a piece this week about Apple University using Picasso's bulls, taking a very strong drawing of a bull, clear thing from Greek design, ancient Greek design, and simplifying it, copying it until you reduced the error, or created more error, if you like. That's why Apple design is so simple. In all of our lives, you know, Dave Brailsford stole expertise to make his aggregation of small margins and made the British cycling team so successful. They stole from sleep experts. They stole from people in washing your hands. It's a particularly interesting speech by Steve about how people don't wash their thumbs. A rant from him about that. Copy from far away. That's a good way to create error. And finally, be cool with it. Be cool with being a copycat. Be cool with it. Be cool with it. And not least, when you think about your own life. You know, gents here, you might find this particularly resonant. You don't have to be your father. You don't have to take everything from your father. It's not a yes or no. It's not a all or nothing. Take some of it and choose the rest for yourself. And in copying, you'll find the error where the juice of your real personality lies. Thank you very much.